Welcome to the pod.
Welcome.
If you're listening, this is Two Tired Therapists.
And we are two tired therapists.
we are. I'm Jackie.
I'm Kyle.
And welcome. We're glad to have you, maybe.
Maybe. We don't know yet.
We're not sure about
First
you.
episode. First
Right.
episode.
We're not so sure about you guys. It's okay.
Well, we're not so sure about us either.
Right.
Truly.
We're about to find out how this goes.
Right. It's either going to be great or...
Maybe you'll only hear like 3 episodes.
Right. This will be the only episode and you'll say, not for me.
Maybe we should explain how we know each other.
That's going to be a good...
People are going to be like...
People are already uncomfortable. Yeah.
People are already just deleting this.
How did you meet me?
Oh, Kyle, we met... When did we meet? Was it July of 2020? Like 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago?
It was 2020, sure.
It was in the fun time that we call the pandemic.
The pandemic.
And that's still actually going on.
Still going on.
Do you ever think about that sometimes? I mean, this is kind of like a sidebar, but
try not to.
Okay, great.
Try to suppress that.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we met. So Kyle joined my team at I work at a mental health center, and I was a manager, and Kyle joined our team to help us out do
managers.
Maybe I should say supervisor, because maybe people will listen and will be like, she wasn't a manager, she was just a supervisor.
She didn't do anything. Yeah.
I was a supervisor, and we did the intakes for the network during that time that Kyle was with us. I'm sure he has only but fond memories of some of those times.
Memories.
So yes, I remember getting an email saying, this gentleman Kyle is going to join your team, and you must meet him and talk to him. And so we had to set up a video call, even though we're still doing those to this day. And we had a really good time. I liked you, and I was like, he seems really like he knows what he's doing, which is exactly what we needed. Because it was an interesting time for the place that I worked, and yes, for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you had thoughts about me. You were probably like, this lady
No. Well, I was telling you earlier that we had our first like one-on-one, because you had to do one-on-ones with everybody.
Yes, I did.
And I asked you a question about something that happened in a meeting, and you rolled your eyes, and I thought, she's it. She is the moment.
I'm very, I'm nothing if but professional. And that is how people describe me, as very professional.
Right. That's it. Yes.
People probably are like, oh, Jackie.
You're real.
Well,
in a professional way.
I try.
Like, you're not like shit talking. You're not like that person, but you're like, oh.
I don't see the value in giving sort of like that babble, like that psycho babble or that clinical babble of like, this is what we're doing. And this is, I like to be, right. I don't agree with this either, but I would rather be realistic than not. Maybe, I don't know. I guess pragmatic in some ways. Yeah. I don't know. It's not like pessimistic. It's not like
genuine.
Optimist, but it's
genuine.
So yeah, we met 2 years ago, and then you hopped off our team. You only stayed with us for like 4 months, 3 or 4 months. It was not that long.
It must have been June, because I think it was 4 months, because I left in that October.
Okay.
Because my supervisor was like, you can't stay there anymore because I'm scared they're gonna steal you, and I was like,
we would have stolen.
They want to, but they won't.
we would have stolen you.
I said they try, but they won't.
No, you had a better deal at
did.
your clinic, and maybe someday.
I think she still worries that I hang out with you so much, and she's like, "Are you gonna work for her?" No,
no,
not now.
No, not now. Not in the current. Not in the current climate.
Not in the current. That's a good. The current climate.
Not in the current climate.
The current clinical population.
Right. The current. Well, though you did really good with that population when you were with us, because I made everybody exposed to that.
You sure did.
So we've worked. So Kyle and I work in mental health. If you haven't
wondered, and you're probably thinking, you do?
It's shocking. It's very shocking.
I always say therapists are the most rotten people out there. You have to be to willingly do
maybe
this.
Someday we'll get into the story. That would be a good idea, would be to talk about an episode
why we
of
got into therapy.
That, and like just therapists who are bad.
I got some stories for you.
Like historically, like not like current people that we know. We would never do that.
We would never do that. We are very ethical on this pod.
Yes. So, yes, some therapists are very not good.
You know what? No one's perfect.
No, it's difficult. So how long have you been doing?
So 2015. I mean, I've been doing therapy since 2014. That's when I started grad school, and they start you right then. We had clients our first night of practicum. We had 2 each.
What population do you work with primarily, or what, like, if we want to get technical, if people really want to feel like this is a mental health
this is an educational pod,
right?
Sure. It won't be. Yeah, this is just today. So I only work with adults.
Okay.
I don't do the children. Sometimes if they're teenagers, like 16, closer to 18 preferably, because honestly I don't like to work with parents.
I don't blame you at one bit.
So mostly adults. My specialty is grief, and anyone trying to leave an abusive relationship. And I do a lot of mindfulness, do a lot of ACT,
Yes.
Therapy. Yeah, I think. Oh, the gays. Love the gays. love to therapize the gays and everybody. All the umbrella.
Yes.
Happy Pride.
Yes.
Hi, gay.
Yes.
So yeah, what's yours? Let's talk about yours, because yours is far more interesting. Because I'm like, give me the middle-aged housewife that has a little bit of depression, and you're like, no. I
must talk to some. No, so I guess technically, I've been working with the seriously mentally ill population, although now it's called serious and persistent mental illness. It's SPMI now.
Oh.
Which I'm still not used to. So you might hear me talk about SMI, which is serious mental illness. But I've been working with the SMI population. No, I don't want to say how long. 9 years, almost 10.
I said you have to.
I know. My internship was at a state hospital in Illinois. I worked on a not guilty by reason of insanity unit, which was super cool. Loved it. The guys that I worked with were really great. And then I moved to here where I am now.
To an undisclosed location.
To an undisclosed location you can't know. And then I worked as a care coordinator / like life skills clinician for the seriously mentally ill population, in which I went to their homes and taught them skills.
Oh no. No.
It was an interesting time. And then I worked in prison for about 4.5 years, almost 5, close to 5 years. And I worked in a mental health unit. I worked at a sex offender prison, but all of the offenders there, not all of them were sex offenders. So my experience has been also with adults. I cannot, children are just not my cup of tea ever. I've done intakes on some under 18, and it's just not good.
It's not
for any of us, really. It was a struggle for all of us. But I've worked with adults and mostly the seriously mentally ill population. The first time I ever not worked with the SMI population was when you and I worked together when I was doing intakes. That was the first time ever in my career that I did not work with the SMI population.
So it's called, what did you say it's called now?
So now it's serious and persistent mental illness, SPMI. I don't know when that changed. I should probably know that.
Do we know why? Oh, we don't know why.
I think it's like a nicer term than seriously mentally ill, because that's what I mean. SMI is serious mental illness, seriously mentally ill. It's not person first language, I guess. Serious and persistent.
I'm not sure that the new one is.
I feel like it's. I don't like it. I mean, I just personally don't like it, but it is what it is. I can't change it. I don't control those things. I don't know who does, but it's not me. And that's a common thing that I say at my current job. So
right, yeah, we don't get paid to do that.
No. So yeah, you and I both have like a lot of experience, which
allegedly.
Some might say we have little to no experience.
And some might agree.
We shan't get into that.
We shan't. No, that's not the reason of this pod. What is the reason of this pod? Why did we do this?
I think you primarily wanted to do this for funsies.
I've always wanted to do one. It's my first one.
Yes, you're doing great.
But you're not.
No.
This is not your first rodeo.
No. I did a podcast. Well, it was in the pandemic too. I don't know what time is, so I can't really give you accurate quotations of when it was in the pandemic.
Between 2020 and now.
Currently, so like within the last 2.5 years or so. No, I did one. It was called Booze Week. It was really great. If people want to download it and check it out. I mean, it's very old, but it was a pop culture podcast. So obviously, if you listen to episodes now, some of that stuff is not
old.
It's old and it's not very current. But that was a good time. So we did that. I did that for a while, and yeah, I had a good time with that. So I've done it before. I've done this before. It doesn't sound like I have, but I have.
No, it does.
I'm going to read myself while we do this podcast.
Well, I think that's a good segue into what to expect from this podcast, which is a lot of reading.
Not much.
Not much, but a lot of reading.
Yeah.
A lot of reading of others, perhaps.
Perhaps,
and
yes.
mostly of ourselves.
Well, I think we wanted to do this so we could talk about mental health. Obviously, there's some things that we can and cannot do. Like
right.
we we're very ethical.
We are.
All the time, constantly. Everyone calls Kyle and I very ethical. That's the first thing people say after professional is ethical.
Modest, I think, is usually
modest,
what people say about me. Humble,
beautiful. Yeah. Right.
Charismatic.
Right. All of these
handsome.
things. So there's some things that we can and cannot do. But we thought we would talk about mental health adjacent topics
in like a real way,
right? Because I think there's just a lot out there, and you and I have talked about this, where it's, everyone, there's people who do mental health, and no tea, no shade to them, but it's just very, I don't want to say Brene Brown, but it's very Brene Brown.
It is. No, you're right.
And
I think yes,
and we don't speak for all therapists. Our opinions are our own. We should probably start with that. Our opinions.
These views do not reflect.
The company.
The company that we may or may not work for.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't
know. Who knows
know
where we work? I don't know.
No one knows. We don't work anywhere. We think we're employed.
We're podcasters.
Right.
Yeah.
There's things that we can and cannot do. We can't diagnose real people because we don't treat them. And there's we can get into that at
another day.
Another time.
Right.
But we just thought we would talk about mental health stuff in a very real way. We have some thoughts about different topics we can discuss. If you really like this podcast, you are free to let us know. Yeah. We have an email. People can email us if they want to. It's twotiredtherapists@gmail.com. So if people want to send us, love letters, hate mail, I do accept hate mail.
Oh, I think we would rather have hate mail than love letters.
But only in the form of magazine letter cutouts that you see in the 1980s. That's the only type I will
you were
accept. Yes. Kidnapped and ransom. Yes, ransom.
There we go. We got there.
Not signed, preferably, and with magazine letter cutouts.
Read but not dictated.
Right.
Yeah. Kidnapper.
Right, correct.
Yes.
So yes, we have. So if you like this, but we have some ideas of things that we will discuss.
I've been telling people, they've been saying, "What are you going to do on this podcast?" And I said, "Well,
it's none of your business."
one, it's none of your business, but two, it's really just us bitching. Truly.
Yeah.
We have things planned, but
yes,
the theme is just us bitching.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes.
One of us or one or the other.
Yes.
Either you're talking about something and I'm bitching about it, or
yes.
I'm saying something and you're bitching about it.
And every time we can talk about things that make us tired, because that's obviously the name of the episode, or not the episode, the name of the podcast is, Two Tired Therapists.
What is making you tired? What's making you tired this week, Jackie?
Oh
Let's talk about it.
I don't know that I can answer this on the podcast. I feel like my answer will always be really similar, or I'll be going back to the same topics or the same things.
Work.
It's not work so much. I think what's making me the most tired this week is just people. I think that'll be a common theme with us.
Like society.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think people who really have struggles in understanding things,
Full
topics.
Stop.
Yes. I guess the best way to put it is I never really thought about stupid people very often. And this is going to sound so bad. It's fine.
It's fine. We put our disclaimer out there, so it's okay.
I never really thought about stupid people very much until the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. But no, what makes me tired this week is people who don't understand. And we'll just full stop at that. So what is making you tired this week?
How much time do you have? I mean, I will get specific. So I agree with you, but I think mine is, so it's kind of, I don't know who I should be more mad at. I don't know if it should be social media algorithms.
Sure.
Specifically, these men who, you knew we were going here.
Yes.
These men who do TikToks and reels of their workouts.
Okay.
So the reason my Facebook reels that I watch.
Yes.
It's been all these workouts of these men.
Right.
And there's, do your bicep curl with, in this way, not this other way, because so-and-so does it, and that's wrong. No one cares. No one cares. No one wants to see you.
You're only putting that content out there for yourself. I mean, really.
Retweet.
Yes.
I couldn't say it better myself. But I'm also mad because why does Facebook think that's what I want to see? Is it because I stopped just a fraction longer on someone who was working out? Okay. Do I want to look at the male frame? Sure. Fine. Okay. But do I want to look at these juice heads doing their workouts?
Well, and you know what's funny?
At Planet Fitness, not wearing a shirt? No, well, I don't want to see that.
If you actually watch these videos, they actually don't do the movements correctly.
No, they don't.
Most of them are still wrong.
Yes.
The sad thing about social media, I think, and I could talk about this. We could talk about this.
Let's do it.
This could be another
episode.
This is it.
Episode
is
1.
that people just believe what's on there.
Yes.
And the tic tac. I'm just saying the tic
tacs.
The TikToks. You know, there's people out there that put out mental health TikToks.
Yes.
And they're so wrong. You know, everybody thinks that they have ADHD and bipolar disorder.
Oh my God. I know. Those ones where they like point.
Yes.
And they're like dancing.
And they're dancing
like,
to the music.
Do you have ADHD? And they point at like, do you shit your pants a lot? And then like all these things. And you're like, that's not ADHD.
No.
I make my patients, if they talk about TikTok, I said, you can't talk about a TikTok unless you send it to me first or you show it to me. You're not allowed.
That's a good rule to have.
Because I don't know, I have ADHD because of TikTok. No.
I knew someone who literally would watch those TikToks and then come and talk to me about how they were accurate. And I was
Wrong.
like, well, they're a person who practices mental health adjacent.
Right. Maybe.
Maybe. And so it was really difficult to be like, this is not correct. Like in any way, shape or form.
But they don't believe you.
No, and they don't. And then they would fight me on it. And and then what was fun is the times that they would fight me on like psychotic and like schizophrenia spectrum disorders. And I'm like, you can disagree with me, sure. Because when we could talk about this multiple times over, but when you meet somebody and you're trying to make a diagnosis, like that can take a very long time. And it doesn't always mean what you see on the first go round is what's actually correct.
When I tell people this is for your insurance, this isn't for us. Yeah, well, I'm diagnosing you for your insurance, so they'll pay.
Yeah, insurance is
the
worst.
I don't care what you have. I mean, I do so I can treat you, right?
Right.
Like,
you need to have it for
depression,
that,
anxiety, but like, do I care if it's moderate, severe, recurrent?
We gotta figure that out later.
Well,
this is not a first time meeting situation we're having.
But we're also not going to call it something it's not.
True.
We're not going to say you have depression. You say, oh, I have bipolar. No, we're going to do that. Well, but that's what's tired. Yes. So that's what's making me tired this week. Well, as we come back to it.
Well, we probably should take a break.
Are we taking a break?
So people can
digest what we talked about and think, should we keep listening?
Yes.
Do we keep going?
I mean, keep listening at your own risk, I guess.
That's all we can say.
And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Okay, so if you are back, you have stuck around with us. And we're really proud of you for that.
Yeah, we sure are. Because we're even thinking, oh, God, what did we get ourselves into?
Right. So one of the topics or segments we've thought about doing is maybe you should describe it. But you are a self-described person who does not watch reality TV.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Sure.
I vehemently hate reality TV. I mean, I think the last reality show I watched was like American Idol when...
wow. Okay, so you're
like when Ruben Studdard won, like season, what was it, like season 2?
I remember when that happened and everybody was upset about it.
Well, because you had Gay Aiken that was there, and right.
I liked Ruben though, but it was surprising. I remember when that happened. So that was like 2000. Yeah. That was the aughts,
we won't say what
the aughts.
The aughts.
Like aught 5, 05, aught.
They do not say that.
You've never heard that?
No.
People say that all the time.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Oh my God.
So Kyle is not a reality TV fan, to put it mildly.
Not even.
I hate that I like reality TV. I really genuinely do.
No, you don't.
I know I do, because I think I don't hate all reality TV. There's some reality TV that I like. but these mess shows that are on Netflix specifically. So I'm just going to put the disclaimer out at the top. There's going to be tons of spoilers because there's no way I can describe.
Right.
So this segment is, I will describe some type of reality show to Kyle, and he and I will
talk shit about it.
We will talk shit about it, and we will try to dissect if they were going to go into treatment, like what we would do. And so the perfect one that's still out there that people I think are still watching, although it came out like a couple months ago. So it's still on Netflix. You can watch it. It's called The Ultimatum. Kyle, have you heard of this show?
Yes.
I mean, I've mentioned it to you.
You've mentioned it, but I've heard, I have my other friends that watch it, and I'm ready. What? I know the premise is something about these people come on and they give their partner an ultimatum.
Yes.
And it's hosted by Nick Lachey and his wife. Fourth wife or something, which
not Jessica Simpson.
Red flag. Already.
Not Jessica Simpson, so
RIP,
yes, you are correct. So it is couples, hetero couples, because that's Netflix.
Because Netflix. That's of course it is. You're not going to see the gays doing this. It's probably worse, actually. They're gonna do worse.
I would really actually.
What's worse than an ultimatum?
I would love to watch like these shows with I would love to if it was not straight.
It would be something dumb. It would be like, if you don't go to the glory hole with me, then it would be something like that. It would be rotten. It would be worse.
These are still rotten. These are rotten. Okay.
I'm ready. I'm not ready, but I am.
You're not ready.
I'm so ready.
So I will just also say that I did not want to watch this show. I was very against it. I told Justin, my husband, that I would not watch it. He could watch it and then tell me if it was worth watching, and we would watch it. Because that's also what we did with Love is Blind, which we can talk about at a different time.
I've heard of that one too, and I have a lot of feelings about that.
But I saw this BuzzFeed article about reactions to the ultimatum, and it was just memes and everything of that nature, videos or whatever. And I sat there and I said to myself, I have to watch this. It's a big mess, and I love big mess. So it is a show, like you said. Couples go on. One of the people in the couple wants to marry the other, and the other is not sure.
Right. You said earlier they weren't married.
Right. So they're issuing an ultimatum, hence the ultimatum title.
Can we talk about? I don't work with couples. Disclaimer.
Yeah, I do not either.
But an ultimatum is not healthy, right?
No.
That's an agreed upon therapeutic. You should not be giving your partner an ultimatum.
There's a flag. The other flag on some of these couples is they are 22, 23 years old.
Oh my God.
Yes. So there are 4 or 5 couples. I can't remember now. I think they start with 5, but they end up with 4. And so what they do is they start together at the beginning.
The couples start together. So who
is your girlfriend or boyfriend at the beginning? And they meet everybody and they meet each other. They spend a night together. And then they separate for 3 weeks and they pick new partners and they mingle with all the other partners. So if you and I were a couple on this show, you and I would split. You would go off with whoever you wanted to go off with.
Is it just random?
They pick each other. No, they pick each other. So they have I don't want to say dates, but they talk to each other. They do dates. Speed dates sort of.
Okay.
That's big mess.
I'm sure
right
it is.
There.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So then after 24, 48 hours, I also don't know how accurate Netflix is on the time of all of this, because it seems like it happens in a very quick span, but maybe within a couple days they decide, okay, I'm going to pick you, you're going to pick me. So then they have a big dinner with everyone where they all get up and announce who they're going to pick. So there's a couple of couples where the one person who really wants to marry the other is really pissed off because they want to marry their partner doesn't want to marry them. And then once they start seeing the woman picks the man picks the woman or whatever, 2 of these dudes freak out.
Oh my God.
One straight up proposes to his girlfriend at this dinner as somebody was was before they had to pick who they wanted to go off with. And so this first couple, they propose and she's so thrilled. And she's there, and all these people are sitting around at this dinner. So imagine you're at you and I are at this table with people,
which would not go over well.
When I watched it, I was I'm really grateful I'm not there, because I would have probably said things that I shouldn't say to people who are just getting engaged, and I'd be oh, for real?
Right? Are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah. And so
wait, I have some clarifying questions.
Sure.
So when they break and do this speed dating, is it they all kind of switch?
Yeah.
With multiple people.
Yes. Yeah, so
or just one person.
Yeah. So it's
so everybody gets to see everybody.
Yeah. So you talk to everyone. So
the boys and the girls.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So yeah,
okay.
you don't talk to, you can't talk to your current partner.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
You
at
talk
least
to all
during
the
the
other
speed dating
men.
you can't. But then there were in certain locations where, at one point, one of the women went up to her boyfriend as he was on a date with somebody else. It was very messy. It was like big.
Of course
mess.
it was. Of course it was.
So when they do this dinner, they start picking people. So this first guy proposes to his girlfriend, and she says yes, of course. Oh my God, she's so thrilled. And I'm like, this is going to be your memory that you're on Netflix.
Problematic.
Red flag number 85.
85. Right. How many? Yeah.
And so these people pick other people, so they have to like.
But just one.
Right. So if I pick you and then you pick somebody else, like I don't get to go with you.
Right.
So there's a lot
So
of
were some
awkward
picking their partner, and then
Yeah.
the partner was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm picking, Judy
Yes.
over here."
Right. And so Judy.
Judy Garland.
Happy Pride.
Sorry. Happy Pride. Hi, gay.
So as we were watching this, we were just like, oh my God.
So you're watching this with
I watched this with
producer Justin.
Yes.
Producer Justin.
And I couldn't believe it. We both were like physically recoiling from all
Yeah, it
of
sounds
this.
disgusting.
So they're going around the table, they're picking people, and then this guy is about to pick this woman who, her and her fiance, their big sticking point was she didn't want to have kids and he did. And the guy was issuing the ultimatum, because in most of these couples, the woman is issuing the ultimatum, not the man.
Right, because sexism.
Right. Yes. All of that.
Right.
Feminism.
Which is, we need.
Right.
We need it.
So she wasn't sure, 'cause she's like, this is a big like life sticking point.
Sure.
So as this other guy decided, I'm going to pick her, and he is problematic, and I won't, his name is Colby. It's just, we don't have time.
Okay. Another pod.
Yes, a secondary ultimatum podcast. And so he's about to pick this woman, and the guy gets up and proposes to her in front of everyone.
No.
And that seemed way more like a bad idea than the first one, because the first one kind of seemed like, I'm finally realizing somebody might get to like date her. So those two couples leave, so they're off the show. Like they're not a part of this.
Oh, okay.
So they
But
leave.
what happens with the ones that are choosing one that?
So then he had to basically get the leftovers of somebody else, which they both did not choose each other. This one coupling of two partners who both had issued ultimatums to their partner. One was female, one was male.
Are they like specific ultimatums? Like
it's like, after this we're gonna get married. That's the ultimatum.
Oh, okay.
So once we're done with the show, when we're done, we're gonna get married.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. A lot of them don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost all of them do not. And so.
Oh my gosh.
These two end up like being like going together and being like, this is not ideal. This is not what we wanted, but let's just do it because we both care about our partners and we want to get married to them at the end of this. So then they have to go and live with this person they've just met for 3 full weeks.
Oh my God. Where?
In a small apartment. So they all live in like Texas or something. They're all in the same. Well, they're all in the same location. Like they all have to be from the same area, right? We won't talk about
that.
We won't talk about Texas.
We're gonna skip that.
Yeah. So they have to go and move into these apartments. And then they live their lives.
And these are not the these are the new partners.
This is like a stranger.
Oh my God.
So
and they think this is gonna work?
No, they like, a lot of them just want. Some of them are getting through this 3 weeks because they want to marry their partner, and they're worried about their partner with the new person. Because there are some couplings that hit it off, the non relationship they just met, that are hitting it off. Chemistry is off the charts.
Oh my God.
There's 2 of them that are like.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, go ahead.
So one, how many of these people had sex with each other?
They don't really show
that's
that.
not a thing. Okay. But
I think a couple of the newer pairings did, or I think they got a couple of them made statements after the show came out saying like, I know it looks like we did, but we really didn't, because we thought we would be done, getting married to the person that we came with, whatever. I think 2 of them probably did.
Right.
Or came very close, pun intended.
My other question is, why not just marry this person instead of going through this rigmarole?
Well, you have to think also, some of these people
that might be my homosexual minority thinking. Just marry them.
Well, I also just feel like if you're not sure, if you and I were dating and I was like, I want to get married to you, and you were like, oh, I don't know, Jack, I think this doesn't sound like a thing, which is
kind of realistic,
not believable at all, right? Because I am just a straight catch. But I wouldn't want to marry, like, I wouldn't want to be with somebody who didn't want to, like, who wasn't sure. Like, that just doesn't seem like a great.
Well, yeah.
And again, we don't do like couples therapy, but like,
God, no.
I can't imagine that you would want to be with somebody who wasn't sure.
No, well, I mean, there's I don't know if he read a book or a blog. I've never read it, but someone told me about him where he said if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no.
Yes.
You know? Yes. So I feel like that's in relationships. I mean, yeah, I gotta have a little gray area, whatever. But I feel like if you're going on a Netflix show to have your partner provide you an ultimatum, that's a fuck no.
Well, and a lot of them have come out afterwards. A couple, like the original couples, who then a lot of them, spoiler alert, like broke up after the show.
Oh wow!
One couple got married on the show. They were an original pairing together. Mm-hmm. Colby and Madeline are their names, and then she got.
I feel like I have to know about Colby. I need to know.
So
someone told me about one guy that he kept trying to pair with people, but
Colby.
Was that Colby?
That's Colby.
But they wouldn't take him, or I don't know, something happened. He just kept he basically was going through all the women until he got to his partner, and he was like, I guess.
That could have been Colby, unless that was one of the guys who proposed, was going to propose, was going through the women and like, I'll pick you if you pick me.
Yes.
Colby was going to pick, I think her boyfriend proposed to her, and then he picked April, who like April had picked like two other people. And then they both were kind of stuck together. And they actually got, like, they were, like, you could tell they were real, like, got, like, along as friends. Although they did kiss at, like, the last night that they were together, which was kind of weird, which I feel like the producers probably, like, intercommed in and was like, kiss each other.
Right, which you have to think about, too. Right.
And so, but there was a couple, Ray and Jake.
Ugh.
Immediately, they did not come in together. Ray had issued the ultimatum to her boyfriend. April was with Jake, and April had issued the ultimatum to Jake. So when they had their short like speed date, chemistry was, you could tell. I mean, but immediately,
like physical chemistry. We're not talking.
Like legit, like like I mean, physical for sure, yes, but just even like even the conversation was very much like they had a lot of stuff in common with each other, so they picked each other immediately. Like there was no questions, and their respective partners were both kind of nervous about it. And it was very...
That's the risk you run. Go on a show like this.
Right. So then after they do the 3 weeks with the new partner, then they do 3 weeks with the partner they came in with.
Now that I would watch.
And so, yes. So then that was also big mess, because you just spent 3 weeks with somebody that you like...
Vibed.
Yes.
Right. As the kids would say, vibe.
Right,
you vibe with.
As the Gen Z would say.
As the Gen Zs would say.
That you vibed with. And then you go back to your partner who
is trash at this point.
Right, you're like sort of disinfranchised with them as a whole. And so to watch that also was, like I said, big mess, because it was, I can't even describe the words. And then at the last day, they had to decide if they were going to marry the person. So then the couples who were together could propose or not propose. So 2 of them proposed to each other. 2 of them proposed. 1 got married. Colby and Madeline got married on the show, which shotgun wedding. I mean, he literally he proposed to her and he's like, do you want to get married right now? And she was like, yeah, of course. And it was the 2 of them with some rando, like, and they later said that it wasn't real. They had to go to the courthouse the next day. They went with like a producer.
I mean, that's probably legit.
Another couple proposed, and then I guess after filming they broke up for 6 months, but now they're back together but not engaged. And then I think they were the only ones. And then Jake decided to dump April, his original girlfriend, and then he told Ray, let's travel together, like let's go somewhere. And then they never got together either. Like they didn't end up getting together. And then Ray, like after the show, like admitted that she was dating a woman and she was bisexual, and like
what?
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. And so, like, the reunion is also a big mess, because that's when Madeline comes out and she's like 100 months pregnant, and you're just like, what the fuck just happened on this show? And so I had to tell you, like, when I watched the show and we were talking about the podcast, when I watched it, I said, I have to talk to Kyle about this on the podcast. So thoughts, questions, comments, concerns.
Well, I have a lot of concerns. I will start with there, but who won? Who won in this?
I guess Colby and Madeline won because they are both weird and... Oh, I shouldn't say weird. That's not nice. Colby came off really well at first. Like, Justin and I very much liked him. We're like, oh, this poor guy. Like, he really wants to marry his girlfriend. She was like, no, I'm not sure. I kind of want to do whatever I want. A couple of the girls rebuffed him in like a weird way. Like, one of the girls had like a really odd reaction to Colby, and they kind of like got upset with him. It was really interesting. And then he kind of turned out to be a giant dick.
As they do.
Right. And so they had this, like, they were going out to like drinks with her friends one night. And he and her got into this like giant fight while they were out with friends. And he was like yelling at her and doing all these. It was so bizarre. You would watch this and you would be like, what the fuck? Every time we watched it, we kept thinking, what the fuck is going on?
So who won? Yeah,
no
who
one
won?
No one won.
Because even the ones that got married, they're going to be divorced.
I guess the viewer won because I wasn't a part of this.
Shit show.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It was pretty entertaining. Like, I won't lie. It was very entertaining, but you're sitting there and you think, why? Just why would you make this? And they're about to make a second season of it. They're casting for it now.
Why?
I think because it was so popular. It was a big mess.
Because you have to go on. I mean, what? Okay, so disclaimer. I am single. You are married. What in your relationship would have to happen for you and producer Justin to go on this show and say, yes, this is a good idea? Is it for the money? Is it for the fame? I would never do it because I would not put my personal life on a platform like that. Personally, that is accurate for you. Yes.
Yes. If I could live off the grid forever, I would do so.
So are these people just saying my drama needs to be aired because it's good drama?
They're all for the most part, all of them are under like 28. The majority of them are between 23 and 25.
Do you think they have personality traits? Maybe. Possibly. Not that we can diagnose anyone that's not a patient. We would never do something like that.
So unethical, and we are the
disclaimer,
most ethical.
Just diagnosing anyone who's not your patient, you can't do. However, if they were your patient, would you say perhaps some clusters of features of some things? Or
we have to educate the children on
personality disorders. I guess we do.
Which is probably another podcast.
But some flavors. We'll just for now flavors. Some sprinkles. Sprinkles and flavors of some personality.
I think a couple of them do. I think a couple of them don't. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of them. I mean, it's hard because everybody lives their life so much on social media that it's like you must pay attention to what I'm doing, and so I'm so interesting. I'm going to go on the show. I think a lot of them. I wonder how these shows are sold to people, especially in like the first season of shows. Like, how did the casting director? Did they say, "Oh, like this is going to be? Are you going to do intensive couples therapy or like, whatever?" Because I mean, part of some of these shows, I don't know if you've ever watched like Married at First Sight or any of that.
No.
They actually have like people who like matchmakers and psychologists and people who are part of these shows who try to make it more worthwhile. Mm-hmm. But this was just a massive, big shit show. So, for couples therapy, I can only imagine that there would be so much like just utter turmoil in those sessions.
Right.
But I think I would hope any good couples counselor, like if any of these couples were their clients, would be like, if you're not happy, maybe we should reevaluate what makes you happy. Or maybe if your goal is to get married and your goal is to, not have kids, how do we get on the same page? Does that mean you guys
or how
split
do we
up?
compromise?
Right. Mm-hmm. How do we make this work? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
It really seems like no one won. No one wins. No one's happy.
I won because I wasn't in it. That's how I feel.
And I won because I didn't watch the shit show.
That's so true.
I'm almost traumatized listening to this.
Well, because what's traumatizing was watching it. So.
Well, I think it almost makes me think about like when people go into open relationships, right? They think, oh, this will fix our, and it's like, no.
Do you do Reddit?
Somewhat.
Just reading some of these people who are like, I want to open up my relationship because I can't get XYZ and I want to whatever. And it's like, this is not going to help your relationship.
Right. It's something
do the actively opposite of that.
Right. It's something that you have to have a foundation of trust and boundaries. And communication, which, newsflash, if you have a poor relationship, you probably don't have those things.
Right. You're missing one, if not all of those things.
If not all of those things.
Yes.
And so then you're going to go into this open relationship and it's going to screw it up. And that sounds exactly like what these people thought. They were like, oh, I don't trust this person.
I mean, spoiler alert.
Let them hang out with another person to show them that what they're missing. No.
Well, and spoiler alert, when they go back to their original partners.
Trash.
Well, think about all the fights that ensued about, what'd you do with this person? And this person said this to me. Because also during the show,
there was no trust.
I didn't mention this. Maybe I should have. They also frequently had like girls' night outs and boys' night outs. So like while one person was dating, another person's boyfriend, they would talk about, oh, your boyfriend said this to me. And then the fires were fueled that way too.
Absolutely.
I did not want to mention that because it adds to the layers of this also.
But I'm not surprised.
It's Netflix.
Of course.
It's Netflix.
It's Netflix. It's straight people.
The straights.
What more do you... The straights.
The straights. The straights.
Trademark. The straights.
The straights. Yeah. This can be a rolling segment in which we deep dive into...
I don't think we need to. I think that's it. Trash.
Are you done? Trash talk, maybe, is what we call it.
Trash. Just trash.
Big trash.
Let's maybe moral of the story. Yes. What did you learn from the ultimatum?
I feel like I didn't learn anything I didn't already know. That sounds so asshole. Oh my God. I think what I learned the most though is you really have to be able to come to compromise. If you're going to be in a relationship, I mean, it doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, it could be friendship, it could be whatever. But if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you're going to have a relationship with somebody else, there has to be a level of compromise or a level of communication. I hate to say, like, it's so cliche. I'm sure you and I will talk about communication so much in this podcast.
Absolutely.
But there was just no, like, in watching some of these people in the confessionals, it's like, why would you not just say this to your partner? Why would you not just, you know, I know it's difficult for people to, like, it's so hard because you talk to clients who are like, I can't say this. And it's like, really? You can't be like, you piss me off. Like, that's not, I mean, you're not supposed to say it like that, but
I feel, yeah.
Like,
I feel statements. I feel angry when you
I feel
leave your dirty underwear on the bathroom floor.
Right. Like, why can't you just talk to the person that you're with? I don't understand. And why are you with the person if you can't talk to them?
Well, again, disclaimer, I'm single, you're married, so you're the expert, I'm afraid. I'm afraid you're the expert. I don't know.
I would not call myself an expert, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'd rather somebody be like, you pissed me off than not talk to me about it. Like, I mean, I would rather somebody say...
For sure. Because you can fix that.
Right. Yeah. So these relationships, spoiler alert, were not fixable.
Which, not surprising.
And so moral of the story is communicate with the people in your life, in your relationships, and... Don't go on a Netflix show expecting to get married to your significant other when the odds are very low of it working out.
Absolutely. I think those are words to live by.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's end the pod. Top 3 rule breakers in a relationship. What, I know you're married. I get it. We get it.
Like deal breakers?
Whatever. Yeah. Like what, if you were dating somebody and they say something, it's over automatically.
I think honestly, I think in this Pride Month, I think the number one thing for me is if somebody was like homophobic, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
I dated a guy who was very scared of gay people, and I did not understand why.
I don't know. Probably should be.
Like legitimately fearful. Not like they're gross, just like I'm scared of them.
Like they will kill him.
I will catch
the gay.
Yes. Yeah. He literally thought that. I had to talk to him multiple times. And it got to a point when I finally broke up with him, I was like, I can't, like, this is so silly. So that's probably number 1. Number 2 would be someone who's not a feminist. I could not, absolutely not. We are done. Goodbye. Get out of my life. I never want to talk to you again. Blocked. Okay. Forever. If you don't think all people are equal, no matter their sex or gender, we can't have any discussions. Working in the prison, I saw my fair share of face tattoos. I bet you did. My very favorite, he had some personality stuff. And he instead of eyebrows, he had tattooed "trust no one," but no one was pushed together, so it looked like none. And so I met him. I'm not this. You're gonna think I'm making this whole story.
No, I won't. I won't think that.
I met him, and again, personality. So there was a lot of behavioral things going on with him. And I met him, and I said. He was like, "Hello, how are you?" And I said, "I'm good." I said, "I can tell you have a hard time trusting people."
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
And he laughed so hard. And we got along great because I made fun of him all the time for his bad. And I said, it looks like it just says none on your eyebrow. And he would always say, "Shut up." And so about it, but it was funny. I was always like, "You must have a hard time trusting people." It looks like so.
Absolutely.
So face tattoos is my
face
third.
tattoos.
What are your top three?
So homophobia.
Okay.
Is anti-feminist face tattoos.
Yes, those are my top three.
Well, that really puts mine to shame, I will say. So drugs, I just can't get behind. I just can't. I mean, if it's like recreational, recreational marijuana, I do it okay, fine.
You're not somebody who is like.
But like if you put in your Tinder profile like 420.
No. Bye.
No. That is not a personality trait.
That would be a left swipe for me as well.
Right. So what would be my other? Oh, like being rude to like wait staff or like when you go to the grocery store, don't do that.
No, that's
ridiculous.
That's not nice.
And then people who are like more into themselves than me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like when they talk more about themselves, I don't like in a narcissistic way.
Gotcha. So,
like if you're telling me about your aspirations, okay, great. But if you're like, if it's just all about you and you're not asking me, because I have so on Tinder I have a three question rule. So if I ask you 3 questions in a row and you don't ask me any, you're gone.
That's very strict.
And let me tell you how many times I have to use that, because it's not that hard to say like, oh, what's your favorite color? And they say, oh, blue. Yours?
So you're talking about questions like not like how are you or how was your day? You're talking about like,
no,
tell me, or that counts
even
into
that.
it?
Because if I say how are you and they just go good, what did you do today? I went to work.
That sounds like a conversation.
How was work?
Today.
It was fine. Okay, well, I just asked you 3 questions. You didn't ask me anything about me. Because how hard is it to say, how was work? It was good. You?
Yeah, like my day was good. How was yours?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that's my 3 question. Now again, maybe later in the pod we'll get into what's wrong with me, but that's not today. That's not today.
We don't have time. This episode is already like an hour long. This episode is long enough.
Well, we did it.
Yes,
we did our first episode.
We did it.
We've only been talking about it for
weeks, months, years.
Years. 84 years.
I mean, I'm sure people will leave hateful comments on social media. That'll be my favorite thing to do.
And maybe we'll have a segment where we just go over those and we say, you're right.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I can accept my faults.
Can I? Can I accept them?
No, but I can pretend like for the podcast.
For the podcast, I will pretend that I accept my faults.
I can pretend like I don't have faults. Yes.
But, yeah, afterwards, no.
No. Well,
that was the pod.
Yes.
That was it.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Us 2 tired therapists.
We'll see you at the next one.
Yes.
When we're more tired.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.